on? Good on. It's Havoc time. I'm here with legendary trainer Andre Rozier. Too soon to say that, or is that the right time?
If you can say it, I won't ever say it. You can say it, and I appreciate it if you do.
Absolutely. So it is a big time coming up. Danny Jacobs is in full-on training camp, getting ready for Canelo Álvarez. Can we talk a little bit on how he's doing and how is he performing? How is he looking?
Well, we're getting there. We're going step by step. Every week is a better week, and we're in the final throes of it. We're just about where we need to be, and I think come showtime, it's going to be the time to explode time. All over Canelo time.
With that being said, with a win over Canelo, would he be the face of boxing at that point?
Oh, most definitely. You'd have to give him the credit for it. More than likely, the boxing public might not initially, but they're going to have to definitely appreciate his effort and stand with him.
Now, with a question I asked Danny, with the idea of a 147 pounder going up to 160 and competing with any of the guys like Canelo, Jacobs, would that be too much for them to jump into that weight class? Someone like an Spence or?
I don't think it'd be a wise idea. The middleweights that are ruling the top of the division are very big. They're tall, they're rangy. Canelo is the only one who isn't, but that'll be alleviated on May 4th. So once again, you have very big athletes possessing the capability of controlling the atmosphere of the ring and the fight like no other time before. And I love Errol. Errol's a fantastic fighter, but I think that's a little too much for him. And the same thing that happened to Mickey might happen to him if he went up that far.
Absolutely. And going into this fight camp, you know, you've been with Danny from the beginning. Would you say that the process of going to the Canelo fight, is this his toughest training camp? Would you say that, or is this like a different experience, seeing the fact that he's more experienced, he has a system, and you guys are just always doing what you guys do best?
Well, this is, I usually go about the protocol of training camp of getting ready. Every event you get ready for is basically the same thing. You just have to augment your capabilities for your next or upcoming opponent. And in saying that, Danny has fought lots of guys, and although Canelo is one of the higher visual athletes that he's going to be boxing against on May 4th, it's still just another fight that you have to prepare yourself correctly for, be in fantastic shape, and explode in the ring.
Now, you know, with this fight being already made, just kind of wanted to know if in the position of Canelo Álvarez, you know, there's Andrade, a Triple G3, and then Danny Jacobs. What do you think was the reason why that Canelo chose Danny Jacobs opposed to the other middleweights to make this fight happen?
I couldn't honestly tell you. I think that they had a lot to do with Danny's manager, my little brother from another mother, Keith Conley, putting pressure on the entire system, and finally the Dazn organization saying that you're not going to fight the butcher, baker, and the candlestick maker and make $30 million plus every time you box. So those are the mitigating points that I believe made it possible for this bout to take place, and we're very happy for it.
Now, another fighter of yours just recently won over the weekend, Sergey Duranchenko. Wanted to speak about that fight. Congratulations as well to you and him. What was your overall thoughts about that fight?
Well, Koke is a tough guy. Yeah, Koke is giving lots of people problems. Actually, Boo-Boo, Demetrius Andrade, was telling me, Uncle, this guy was really awkward, and he gave me a lot of different looks. And I said, well, maybe it was just an off day, but I'm now seeing that Koke is definitely somebody that can give you some hell in the ring. And he gave Sergey lots of trouble in that ring on Saturday night.
What were the things that gave Sergey a problem? Was it like a power? Was it?
I think it was the movement. I think it was a few other instances where he just wasn't comfortable enough, and literally one of the most important things is that Gary and I, I call ourselves the Mama Luke brothers. It's almost like the Patronelli brothers and the Goosen brothers. We're the Mama Luke brothers, and when we're not together working with a guy, we can't get 100%. And I think that's what took place there. When Gary and I are together, look out, it's going to be massive trouble. And I saw a lot of things that Sergey wasn't doing that we were doing before as a collective team. So we have to get back to that.
But a win with that, where does Sergey go from now?
I believe he's the IBF mandatory now, and it's funny how this circle comes around.
Yes.
Danny and Canelo are boxing, and at that point, once Danny wins this fight, there's going to be rematch situations, this, that, and the other thing, and since they visited that at that point in time, we don't know exactly what we're going to do. But right now, it's all about us winning this Canelo fight. I don't want to think about my guys fighting each other again and just moving on to what we need to do.
Absolutely. Now, I guess a perfect idea, just from a fight fan perspective, if by any chance Danny decided to go and continue his legacy and go after the other champions at 168 and vacate the 160 division,
right?
Would that be the ideal situation where then Sergey will go for the belt without having to compete?
Well, I mean, of course, that's definitely the ideal situation. We don't have a whole lot of time at 160 now. Danny's a big 160, and after a while, the wear and tear of actually getting to that particular weight gains up on you. And Danny could compete quite well at 168. The guys are big there too, but Danny's also big. So it would be like even ground, and he just has to acclimate and get strong at the weight. And I think he'll run through it just like he is representing at the middleweight division.
Did you see David Benavidez' performance against Jalen Love?
Yes, I did.
Spence? What was your overall thoughts on that?
He's a bad boy. Benavidez is a bad boy. I love that kid. He comes to fight. He comes to basically kick your butt, and I love it. He's a busy fighter. It's hard to outpunch him. I love everything about David Benavidez, and I would love to have him contend against us one day.
Now, another fight that recently just happened over the weekend, a little controversy, was the Jaime Munguia and the Hogan fight. By any chance, did you get a chance to see the fight?
No, I was about to watch it, but there was so much boxing on regular TV, I didn't go to my computer and catch up with it, but I'm going to actually see it.
Absolutely. With the undercard in the FS1, wanted to talk about some of the prospects. Did you get a chance to see a couple of them while you were out there?
No, not at all. I was just sort of paying attention to the most important bouts. So I really didn't get a chance to get into that. But from everyone calling me and telling me Munguia had a tough time, and some people thought he lost. I've been saying this. We're grooming Curtis Stevens to face Munguia at this moment, and at 154. And I can guarantee you, if it was Curtis in the ring instead of Hogan, with the way he was being struck, as I was told, he was getting hit a lot, he would have been knocked out. So that's what we're looking for. I hope he doesn't go up to 160, where somebody will probably massacre him, and stays at 54, and we get our chance to get in that ring and get some revenge for Saddam and take care of the business.
Now, with more fights over the weekend, I know you were very busy focusing on the prize, but did you by any chance get to see Clarissa Shields and Christina Hammer's fight?
Yes, I did. I watched it to the 4th round, and then I sort of became disinterested. I'm sorry. It's just what it was.
What made it disinteresting by any chance?
Basically,
was it too one-sided?
Yeah, it seemed like it was one-sided, and that's one of the problems with women's boxing. You always have a better athlete than the other in the ring, and very rarely do you see two face each other like Layla and Jackie Frazier. That was one heck of a bout. I don't know if we'll ever see anything like that again. Not, well, in the higher weights. In the lower weights, there's not many also. The most interesting fight in my mind for women's boxing is Katie Holmes and Amanda Serrano.
Oh, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano.
I'm sorry, Katie Holmes.
No, it's fine. that's a name too, so don't worry.
I was thinking about I was thinking about some other things. But yeah, Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano.
Absolutely.
And yes, I think that's the best bout in women's boxing.
Do you think, with that being said, because Clarissa's been mentioning that she wants to fight the other undisputed champion, more of an in-between weight class, that since she doesn't have a nemesis and she seems to be so dominant, that's what you would say is kind of hurting her as an entertainment value.
Right, right.
Okay.
Eventually people will come into the mind frame of, oh, she's just good and the other girls are bad, and sort of drift off from it, which is bad. You don't need that. In boxing, in men's boxing, you have opponents that are going to give you tactical offense and problems and just guys who are really, really good. We need to have more good fighters in the women's weight classes so that they can contend against each other, or it will never get off the ground.
And with that being said, a lot of people has spoke about her accomplishments at a young age, 24, 2 gold Olympic medals, undisputed, champion other divisions. Based on the conversation we're having, her opposition, would you say, would prevent her from being in, I guess, a pound-for-pound ranking if they had like a universal with men and women?
Oh, well, of course, that would never be the case. That would never be the case. The pound-for-pound list is fantastic athletes, and just because she doesn't have enough competition to do that, that wouldn't be the case.
Absolutely.
So I don't think that would ever happen.
But on the women's side, would you say that she would be pound for pound or top 2, top 3?
Oh, without a doubt, definitely.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt, she can fight. She can fight.
Absolutely.
She's a very, very alluring and exciting athlete, and she believes in herself, and she brings it to the table. So we have to give her credit for that.
Getting back to you and with your other fighters, how's Saddam Ali doing? He has to fight on Danny Jacobs' Canelo undercard.
Saddam is doing very well. We're coming around the corner now. He's picking it up, getting it where he needs to be, and we'll all be out in Vegas come the end of the 21st. So we'll be grinding to the last couple of minutes, and then we're going to take care of business.
So from that point, you guys are going to move training camp for a couple weeks out in Vegas, leading up to the fight?
Right.
Okay. And the decision to move out there a couple weeks earlier, is it just to get acclimated a little bit and just relax and not even worry about the travel
entirely
plans?
Just acclimation, getting comfortable, getting ready, that's it.
Okay. Certain sparring partners or certain people will be helping you guys out in Vegas, or are you guys using the same team?
Well, we're gonna have we're gonna have some other people working through it, but we're pretty close to where we need to be. So we're just gonna turn on the fire, utilize it, and we're winding down. This week is wind down, and next week is definitely the wind down week. So we're pretty close to where we need to be anyway. So it's not much of an issue.
Now, I just saw Chris Algeria over here. Any updates or any news?
Yes, we're fighting on June 1st on the undercard of Miller and Joshua. We're fighting an English athlete. I think his name is Cowan. I'm not sure right offhand, but I know we're getting
congratulations
ready.
On that.
Thank you. It's coming together, and I expect Chris to have a very strong and exciting performance on June 1st. He will be in our hometown, and we're going to have a good time with it.
Now, it seems like the opponent that's best suited for him, if he gets past this opponent on June 1st, would be Maurice Hooker.
Right.
Is that where you guys are kind of aiming at, another title shot?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We definitely want to get a shot against Hooker. I think that once we take care of our next opponent, that will be the next fight that's made, and we're going to prepare for it and be ready for it and take care of business.
Absolutely. And then introducing former cruiserweight champion to heavyweight champion, Marco Huck. How's he doing?
Oh, God. Talk about getting a character in the gym. Marco Huck is a character and a half. But he brings a lot of fun and energy to the gym. He's always joking. He's a comic, comedian, fun guy all the time. But he comes to fight. And we're just working on cleaning up a lot of the things he didn't do right and then we'll start taking care of business step by step in the heavyweight division.
Any talks of opponents or dates?
We're boxing on May 17th.
Okay.
We don't have an opponent yet. We're still working on that, but May 17th is the date.
Is it a main event or an undercard on?
Undercard.
Do you know the main event on?
I have no idea who it is.
Okay.
But it'll be at Foxwoods.
Okay, got it. And then also another top contender, highly rated in the WBO bantamweight, Duke Munguia. How is he doing?
We have so many issues now, unfortunately, with Duke Munguia, with his former promotion company, and trying to get him out of his contract. This boxing business is an ugly business. It's an ugly business. It's a beautiful sport, but it's an ugly business. And we're just trying to make sure that we can get him boxing again, because when there's these issues that the promoters or managers and the fighters have, they shouldn't be not allowed to make a living. And this problem is becoming pervasive. And we need to stop it. We need to find a way to stop it. Even if they have contractual issues, let them fight. They can work that out afterwards. But whereas you can't participate, can't fight, can't make any money, it's not a good business scenario.
Absolutely. And then just following up, just a couple last prediction questions to ask you. Crawford Khan's coming up this week. What do you have winning?
Interesting fight. I have to side with Crawford because he's an explosively spectacular athlete and fighter. Khan is a very, very good fighter, and you just never know what you're going to get. But it's not going to be an easy fight. People are thinking that Mir's going to be blown out. That's not going to happen. He's going to come in fast and furious, and if he was to be able to maintain it, it might be a long night for Crawford.
And Deontay Wilder, Dominic Brazil, coming up on May 18th, heavyweight showdown, WBC.
Deontay crushes him.
Prediction rounds?
I say the fourth round.
Fourth round.
Fourth round.
Okay. And then, lastly, I guess my last fight coming up. Actually, what is the next fight that you're truly excited that you're not involved in that? There's a Sergey Kovalev, Anthony Yard fight coming up. Are you into the light heavyweight division or not?
I am, but Sergey is he looked really great in his last fight.
Okay.
He was really, really smooth. I think he's going to run Yard, clean out the ring, and do what he has to do. He's a seasoned champion. He knows what it is, and he knows what he has to do, and I think he's going to do it.
Absolutely. And then, by any chance the fight did get made, there's a Thurman-Pacquiao kind of talks out there.
I would love to see that. I think that Thurman would win it because Pacquiao is just a little longer tooth now, approaching 40 if he's not 40 already. And I think it'd just be a little bit too much for the young man in the ring with him, but he'd make it exciting.
Absolutely. And then just for the fight fans to just know where to buy the best apparel in boxing and Havoc time, where can we...
Havoc Athletics. All day long, all sports, all the time. Havoc boxing gear forever. This is what we do. When you in Havoc, you know what time it is. They're going to tell you. It's Havoc time, and we are in the hurt business.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.